Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. We're back, baby. Merry Christmas and such. By the way, I get to
Oh
talk
boy.
about Harlan Ellison in this
Hi
one. My
everyone.
favorite topic.
Gee, what is the Harlan Ellison topic, Mike? Is it
You know what the
again?
Harlan Ellison topic is?
Okay. Is it something to deal with well, never mind. We'll get
We
into
will
it.
get
Hi
into it.
everyone. Welcome to Yelling at Gaseous Anomalies. I'm your host, Captain Matt Ross, and accompanied by a very happy and singing Michael Pontone. How are we doing tonight, Mike?
Not bad. Baby's crying for some reason, but that's fine. I think
Well,
she's okay.
it's par for the
Um,
course.
yes. No, not bad. It's wintry. I thought work is going to slow down. It hasn't, but I was also reflecting on this. We're doing this on December 21st, and of course, Christmas Eve is in 3 days, and I'm back to back till then. And I was like, you know what? I'm happy about that, because if things were just chill because of Christmas, right up until Christmas and then Christmas Day, it would make going back to work all the harder. So the fact that it's going to be chaos right up until the time for a quick 24-hour break, then right back into chaos, we have the sweet release of death at least to look forward to.
That's pretty macabre for the happiest time of the year. It's not just Christmas, it's Hanukkah, it's Kwanzaa or Christmas Kwanzaa. It's a special time of the year. You know,
Yes.
it's going to be filled with, hopefully, with joy and happiness for everyone, and we wish everyone a happy new year. So this is probably going to be our last podcast for 2025, and we'll be coming back in 2026 with more stuff, obviously, unless we could squeeze one in. But yeah, I know. It's been 2 years. Can you believe that? It's
God bless.
crazy. But yeah, well, I hope everyone out there has a great winter holiday. And but tonight we're talking about "For the World Is Hollow" and "I Have Touched the Sky." That's tonight's episode. Just first impressions. I like this one for season 3. What about you, Mike?
Same. We're going to get into it. This is all rushed, and this should have been like, if this was made in the modern time, this would be a season-long arc. Or it would at least, and if it was made in the 90s, at least would have been a two-parter.
Well, I could see that. I mean, you know, they only have 45 minutes to do that. It wasn't rushed. In fact, this went over budget. I will tell you that as a hint for later. And it was shot in 8 days, a big no-no to Paramount and their money men. But this episode I actually quite like a lot for the third season. And actually, overall seasons, I enjoyed it a lot. It wasn't usually shown on WPIX in New York all the time. Had you seen this one before?
No, Matt, Captain, I've not seen 99. I've not seen anything that you showed me so far. The
Fake
only
fan.
thing that I've seen, realistically, no, give me a break. I did not watch any of the original series except for the movies, which I've watched all multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
No, what did I actually ever see? For what we've seen so far, what hadn't I seen before?
Trouble with the Tribbles, I'm presuming.
That's what I'm trying to think of, anything other than Trouble with the Tribbles.
Oh, well.
And I gotta even say, I think that I might have just watched clips from Trouble with the Tribbles.
Really?
Anyway.
Well, anyway, let's just get into the nitty gritty. Like I said, this is one of my favorites for season 3 and just overall of the original series and Star Trek in general. This is written by a newer writer called Rick Valaridis, or Valaritz. He was accompanied by Arthur Singer, the story editor, and it was directed by a gentleman named Tony Leader. And I'm going to read you the press release, or a piece of it, which is: "A hollow world. In reality, a spaceship camouflaged as an asteroid hurtles towards disaster as Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock helplessly watch a dying Dr. McCoy submit to electronic enslavement on NBC television network Star Trek." Not really a good description, but the idea of a spaceship, which looks like an asteroid, I love that aspect of it. In fact, it's done in several other areas. But I do like how it begins with the missile attack. Did you like that?
Missile spread, Mr. Spock. Aerokinetic type, Captain. Sublight speed. Aye, and chemically fueled to boost.
Yes, I liked the missile attack quite a bit. I thought it was cool to see antiquated technology, and it was smart, where it wasn't, phasers coming in from this thing. It was like, no, the people who who made this thing didn't have phasers. So this is what their weapons were. I thought that was very smart.
Yes.
We got to get into it. The issue that I have with this episode was,
Mhm.
again, there was just too much, like, stuff. I think that it was all good stuff.
Right.
But everything was going on. The doctor's disease, the doctor falling in love, the society being controlled by a computer intelligence, the generation spaceship that kind of like forgot itself. There were so many different illusions and things. And I got my list of things that we've seen in Star Trek future, things that we will see that influence the future of Star Trek will be recycled into future episodes, things that they've used from previous episodes to recycle. And let me just start with the biggest thing. Did you ever hear of a series called Star Lost?
Oh, actually, that's one of my list of things I was going to do. The Star Lost, yes. And also starred Walter Koenig. Yeah, that was...
No, it did not star Walter Koenig. Wrong.
No, it has Walter Koenig in it. Yes.
Matt, Captain?
All right.
Let me just do a quick little aside here. You know I love Harlan Ellison.
Yes.
Harlan Ellison has this amazing hour-and-a-half long interview that I think he did something on a radio show or something that I've listened to a bunch of times, talking about his battle writing Star Lost. That it was happening during a writer's strike, that it was in Canada, that he was keeping the show Bible a secret, that he smuggled it away, that he essentially half kidnapped a scab writer, and that he had wanted Walter Koenig, who was a friend of his, to star in it, but the studios were insistent on Keir Delay from 2001 Space Odyssey fame, and they got... I've never seen an episode of it, but I looked it up, and the star is Keir Delay.
Well, yeah, that's the main star. Walter Koenig was a guest star. I did watch it.
Well,
so there. Yeah.
Okay.
He was Oro from the planet Zar. I think he was in 1 or 2 episodes. It's an interesting... If you actually read the book, it's sort of related to the TV show, but it's a bunch of biomes that are looking to get towards a new planet to resettle because Earth is destroyed. If those of you haven't seen it, the Canadian TV show was okay. I will tell you can also see the very similar theme in Star Trek Voyager's Displaced, and also another episode of Voyager called The Disease. Are you familiar with either of those 2 episodes, Mike, or no?
Not.
I've
not seen those.
Displaced is a ship that basically captures the crew and places them in a biome to take over the ship. The Disease is a generational ship where Harry Kim gets an STD from one of the aliens. But more recently, the Orville has an episode called If the Stars Should Appear. That's the Orville, that just came out recently, which is like an homage to Next Gen and TOS. It's also a generational ship here.
3 generations would live out their lives on board this biovessel. The 3rd would be the one to reach our destination.
There's some of it where ideas versus like Robert Heinlein had very similar ideas in this as well. So this is not a new idea, but seeing it on the screen, it is a new idea with the asteroid spaceship traveling through space, obviously.
Yeah. I love the camouflage thing. And again, I really like the idea of generational spaceships because that is probably what we are going to do if we ever do become an interstellar society.
Right.
And I really liked it. And it was smart writing where it's like, well, it's going to take a tremendous amount of time. Do we hope that no one sees us? Do we hope that our weapons are good enough to defeat people? Or do we just try to hide? And they were like, we're going to try to hide. That anyone scanning us would just think that we were another asteroid, like a trillion different other asteroids in this galaxy. So I thought that was a very smart.
Yeah, it was a very smart idea of like an automated ship. But, then you were right. At this beginning point, it jumps at 2 different things. One is McCoy dying, and then you have that little scene between Chapel and McCoy.
You're excused. You may return to your quarters.
No, I'm sorry, Doctor. I have called the captain, and I'll wait until he comes.
Please, Christine. I promise you I'll give the captain a full report.
Yeah, I really like that. I thought that was cute.
I thought it was great where she is concerned over him, and then McCoy beating around the bush, telling Kirk that he's going to die.
He has 1 year to live at the most.
Who is it? The ship's chief medical officer.
I actually like that a lot. And then very Starfleety, he goes like, listen, I got to get a new chief medical officer. So he contacts Starfleet. I actually thought that was pretty cool. You know, it's a captain's log here. I actually like that.
But yeah, I mean, again, this is why I always think it's so silly that, they make Picard traumatized by Data's death.
Yeah.
In Picard season 1 and 2. It's like, dude, they lose officers all the time. They're astronauts. They don't fear death. They don't fear the death of their subordinates.
Well, it's also they weren't those two characters weren't as close as, let's say, Geordi and Data. Those of you who don't know what we're talking about, that's Picard in Next Gen, where Captain Picard is the new captain of the Enterprise and Data's the android life form. But Mike is bad-mouthing New Trek, and I will give you a commendation in your record for that, Mike. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, of course, everyone's going to say, what about Kirk reacting with Spock's death? Okay, a number of different things. Primarily, Kirk would feel responsible for Spock's death because he essentially got them into that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. And number two, they've been friends, close friends, who had many intimate moments for like 20 years at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And, by the way, he gives a stiff upper lip eulogy and then moves on.
That's true. But he's still upset. It does bogs Kirk down in Star Trek 3. But I will tell you, getting back to our story here, this was a story originally handed out by Gene Roddenberry. Freiberger, although in charge, Roddenberry had already stacked the deck, and this was one of the stories that they liked. There were other stories that were coming out, something called BEM, which is now a animated one. There's also Shore Leave 2 by Theodore Sturgeon, and there are things from David Gerrold and DC Fontana. Those were dropped because of this episode, believe it or not.
Wait, Shore Leave 2?
Yes.
Do they go to the same planet?
Yes, they do. That's in the animated series.
Hilarious.
Yes, Shore Leave 2,
wait.
Electric Boogaloo. That's not what it's called.
This is the animated series one written by Ted Burgess, Ted Sturgeon?
Yes, it is. So they had a lot of...
Sturgeon's a famous horror writer.
Yes, he is. There was a lot of advocation by DC Fontana to have this story for McCoy because it's really, if you take a look at it, it's a love story for McCoy as well. He doesn't get a lot of, I guess you could say, love stories or emotive lines in this show, except to show exasperation with Kirk and Spock. But this was I think a great idea to have him, more like a vulnerable character throughout the whole story. There was also supposed to be a story with his daughter, Joanna. Is he divorced? Is his wife dead? Who knows? It's actually, I like that. Unlike the 2009 voice clip, which is...
I was about to say, he's divorced.
Yeah.
That's established, sir.
Well, that's only in 2009. It's not really clear because it's not said in canon in the TV show. You don't
He
know.
is divorced.
You don't know. You don't
know. They took everything but the bones.
Well, no, that's a 2009 clip. He's called Bones for Sawbones.
I know, obviously. I still like that clip.
Yeah, I know.
I like that more than Sawbones, because you know why?
Why?
Because he's a good doctor. He's not a sawbones. That's the whole point.
Yes,
he's not some idiot surgeon barber.
That's what makes it funny.
Good night, Bones. Good night, Jim.
Anyway.
Okay, fine.
So I also, there's another reason why they wanted to do this special McCoy love story. It's against Freiberger's and NBC had that meeting where women are afraid of space meeting, apparently. So that's what their test audiences said. I don't want to go to space. Why can't we have just a nice love story? That's where this comes from. Let's see. The disease that he has, xenopolycythemia.
Xenopolycythemia. It has no cure.
Yeah.
In real life, there is a disease called polycythemia, which does deal with having problems with your blood cells, but that can be cured easily. So they just wanted to zhush it up by adding the word xeno on it.
Xeno means other.
Yes.
Outside.
Excuse me, sir. A what?
Yes, but it makes it sound spacey by adding the word xeno.
Well, I mean, I assume that means that somehow it's an alien disease that he caught.
Right. Right. Well, or something. I like the fact that their science isn't all-knowing, and it's very convenient for this episode as well. I just want to let you know that the writer on this had written many things. He had written since the 1950s. He wrote Highway Patrol, Mr. District Attorney is another TV show which had William Shatner in it and where he met Gene Roddenberry. He also wrote episodes of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Oh, very nice.
And originally, they had it where Scotty was staying behind because he was going to fix the engineering issue that we'd soon discover afterwards. I actually like it better with the Doctor, honestly, to think about it. You know?
Again, this is why, I mean, the problem is that if you have stakes, there have to be problems with them. Or not problems with them. There have to be consequences from the stakes. So
right.
This is why it had to be a in my opinion, a season-long arc or a multiple episode. Classic example: some absolutely terrible writing in Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yes.
You have this emotional moment where Kirk dies, and then 10 minutes later, he's alive again. There's nothing to sink in. At no point do you think that he's going to stay dead. And it robs it. Now, as opposed to, great example, Avengers series, right?
Okay.
Half the population gets killed at the end of Infinity War. They come back in Endgame after 5 years, after society has been hurt by them being gone, right?
Right.
That's good writing. We have to do consequences. So him being sick, that's what I'm saying. What were the consequences of that? Nothing. Absolutely zero.
Okay. Well, I mean, there were consequences here. He was going to leave Starfleet and stay with the woman on the planet or asteroid ship. But I mean, let's just get back into our story here. We got a lot going on. We got an out-of-control spaceship. They land on the planet, which they think is abandoned because their sensors can't go penetrate whatever is there.
You found no intelligent life forms, Mr. Spock, but surely the asteroid ship is over 10,000 years old, Doctor. Still no sign of life forms, Captain.
And I actually like that scene where they land and you see those tubes. I always imagine those to be the missile tubes, but they're not. They're just elevators. That's also a forced perspective. The two in the distance happen to be farther away. But I actually enjoy that where they come on out and they kick their butts. I thought,
yeah, dude, I love those tubes. I thought they were amazing. And I was really genuinely surprised. I'm like, that's interesting, is that design? And when they slid down, the people popped out. I'm like, holy crap, something actually exciting is happening.
Yeah. It was fun. They got their butts kicked.
I am Natira, the high priestess of the people. Welcome to the world of Yonada.
I can't say I think much of your welcome.
McCoy takes the worst of it because he got his disease. But I like how they enter into the planet because as they go down into this, it's a different perspective. Like you see the stairs as they're walking down. There's no beaming. There's no like elevator. It kind of reminds me of I'm trying to remember the name of the film. Where it's like a bunker where people are stuck in a bunker and they only have a certain amount of jobs to do. And I can't remember the name of it. But
you're not talking about Silo, are you?
No, not Silo. That's another one. There was another movie like that where it's like a bunch of kids, however, or like everyone has a specific job. One person's a runner for messages. You know that one?
Are you talking about City of Ember?
That's it. City of Amber. That's it.
I wrote that down as something that I thought was influenced by this.
Yeah.
Because City of Ember, it's a post-apocalyptic society that's like, cloistered to survive the apocalypse, but they've forgotten why they're there. They've forgotten what the whole they forgot the history of how it began. So all they have is like tradition, and they don't remember that there's a whole other world out there. I really like that too, and it's like modern science deals with that. I was reading this thing about how their linguists are trying to figure out how to warn future societies that radioactive waste is toxic, because if you bury something in concrete, and then you lose records of it, people might think that it's treasure.
Right.
If you put a skull and crossbones, like, ooh, skull and crossbones means pirates, treasure. And it's like, well, what about a radiation symbol? It's like, yeah, let's hope that they remember or that there are records that show what radiation symbols mean. So Anyway,
There's
go
there's
on. Fascinating concept in fiction.
It's even heard that like in Indiana Jones, you take a useless item, you bury it in 100 years, and it's keyword be priceless. Or there's even a science fiction series from DC Comics that came out called Time Warp, where the world is facing an end, and so there's recordings saying don't use war, use love. But because the way the word love is said so forcefully, the inhabitants think that means attack. So when they're charging people, they yell love and they kill people. So it's funny. But I like this direction where they're going down through the stairs. We see everything. This society has lost the all idea of what it is that they're doing or who they are. By the way, the director is named Tony Leader, or Anton Tony Leader. He had done a whole bunch of things, and I'm surprised you don't know Anton Tony Leader. He did 1963's Children of the Damned.
Beware these children. Behind their fiery, hypnotic eyes lurk the demon forces of another world.
Did you remember that movie? Yeah, that's his movie. He's also did Rawhide, Gilligan's Island, Lost in Space, and he normally could handle tough assignments with 6 days or less. He was known as a speed demon, but not in this one. But I like how when we go down there, or I actually think it's kind of bizarre that they meet the leader, or they're taken in to meet their oracle, and the oracle just gets all Old Testament, if you will, on them. It's like,
Not to say, like, yeah, go.
I was going to now know what it is to be our enemy first. I'm like, wow, that's pretty nice of you. I don't know. What did you think of that whole little bit?
Come in friendship.
Then learn what it means to be our enemy before you learn what it means to be our friend.
Again, it needed to have more explanation. It needed to have more time to breathe, because there's no explanation ever as to why the Oracle, the central intelligence that is running the society and keeping the citizens safe, is a dictator, right? It needed an explanation of, like, he's going mad. Like, he was only supposed to run for 5,000 years and he's been on for 10,000 years. Or, his
rampancy
started to degrade. Or someone tried to turn him off. Like, right. Like, it's like, why is he acting like this? It doesn't benefit anyone, and it's not even that they don't have an explanation. It's like they never get around to it.
Yeah, they didn't have the time, I guess. But, I mean, I agree with you. That it's kind of odd. Why is the computer, by the way, voiced by Jimmy Doohan? I don't want to know. I think that's funny, too. Why is it that the computer is a dictator? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, down to, like, the obedience chips in their heads. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I could see it as a system of control to try and make sure that the population stays docile on their very long journey away from their star system. But it is a little bit bizarre that there is no explanation as to that. Like, is it defective, or is that a design feature to control everybody? It's a little nuts. I do like the priestess, Catherine Woodville. I thought she was very pretty as Natira. Not Natiri from, Avatar. By the way, she was married to Patrick McNee in real life. So that's actually, Patrick McNee.
I don't know who that is now.
That's from the Avengers. So Avengers. Yes, now you do. And Danger Man. So you do know who it is.
I mean, I know the Avengers, and I don't know Danger Man.
Okay, well then you also had I like this little scene where the old guy comes into the room as they're recovering. Are you from elsewhere? And he's like losing it because the chip, as we were just talking, is taking over. Is like attacking him. I found that fascinating. Did you like that?
Yeah, that's again weird, like coincidental. They're just smashing this into each other. Where it's like, okay, there's going to be a guy who shows up who tells them that he understands that they're in a hollow earth. No one else has figured it out. And then the central computer is going to kill him. It's like, why now? Is it just a coincidence? Was he waiting until there were outsiders in order to tell them, but he didn't want to tell anyone who lived there? Or he did tell people who lived there, but they didn't believe him? Like, when did he go and touch the sky? It just doesn't really make too much sense.
Well, I mean, also it hits our bingo card for saying the name of the episode in dialogue. So I do like that bit.
Things are not as they teach us, for the world is high at the sky.
Right. It just they just had to spend a little bit more time. Like, come on, Captain, let's make this right, right? Like, maybe when the missiles fired, this old guy saw something glimmer in the sky, but realized that the sky was closer. Like, the firing the missiles created some sort of disturbance that everyone else missed except him.
Right. I mean, I could see that. I mean, like in the
And then he went exploring, and then he's like, "Oh my god, I know the truth now."
in the Orville episode, they actually address that. So, I recommend you hunt down. It's I think the 4th episode of the Orville in season 1. It actually addresses that you kind of have a schism of the society: those who have seen the truth that they're on a spaceship, and those who are saying that's against the canon of their church or ideology. So,
Sure.
and it's heretical. By the way, the old man, you've seen him before. Do you recognize him at all?
No. Wait.
He was
Was he in that episode where they all get old?
No, he was in Return of the Archons. He was one of the guys in the. He's the one who was saying like, "Oh, I'm sure the lawgivers know everything," and then he gets killed. He's also the lead scientist in the Cage, which is also the Menagerie. He's like the crash survivor leader that they meet when they're landing on the planet with Captain Pike. So he's been in Star Trek 2 other times, but anyway. This is, I'm going to tell you the parts where I just find it a little bit ridiculous in this. I mean, we're stuck on a spaceship underground. The love story between McCoy and Tira, a little bit too fast, I think.
Does McCoy find me attractive?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
I mean, I think you can have a love story in 45 minutes or something on that. Like if you have more dissolves, saying like 3 weeks later or something. But in this one, I don't know. They looked at each other.
Like, listen, I can see a stupid man like you or me, seeing a beautiful woman and say, "Oh, yeah, I'm in love." Deal. There had to be some more of an explanation as to what she saw in him.
Right.
Maybe it could have gone into the disease. Maybe she saw that he was a strong man who was facing vulnerability for the first time. Like.
I like the way my guards kick your ass.
Right, like that's the thing. It's like, dude, you went from 0 to 1,000. Like, why?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I also find it a little bit convenient that the race of people that they're on, the Fabrini, happen to have the best medical knowledge in the entire galaxy.
They seem to have amassed a great deal of medical knowledge.
Yeah, that was also kind of stupid. Like, there's nothing that we've never heard of the Fabrini before.
And never again.
And never again, I'm sure. So, like, it doesn't really matter that you figured it out. It's like, oh, of course, the Fabrini, like, and so you could have said they were the I don't know, the cheesemongers. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
We really like mozzarella. Yeah, no, it's a little strange that they were harping on that, and that's how they find the cure to McCoy's disease.
I know, but it's so weird that they would. It's strange that they would use exposition. Their limited time to give exposition on something that doesn't matter to the plot, but then not give exposition where it's personally more needed.
I mean. I do like the idea that they're an alien race trying to flee their star system. It's too bad that their ship is heading to Darren 5 and crushing it. But considering like Kirk was like, 10 million dead and with Nomad, they seem to be rather concerned about one planet, just like on the American Indian planet. They were really concerned about the little groups of people suddenly. They never said Darren 5 was part of the Federation, but let's just assume it is.
Right.
But I still think it's enjoyable. I also like the idea that Kirk and Spock leave McCoy, and Scotty's asking, what about the doctor? Because he's not coming.
Then transport Mr. Spock and myself immediately.
But Captain, what about Dr. McCoy?
He's staying, Scotty.
But I kind of like that. There's a sort of like moving forward that you've mentioned before, that the officers know that they have to move forward with their lives, and that McCoy is just staying behind.
Well, it's just
I
part
find
of the job. Like, they're like, listen, this is not a job that we take to grow old. If we wanted to do that, we'd have stayed on the paradise that is Earth.
Yeah, that's quite true. So yeah, I mean, I do like that. There's an episode I think with in Voyager where, and I know it, where Chakotay and Janeway, they were stuck on a planet because they had some incurable disease, and like the Voyager goes out of range, so they can't talk to them. That that didn't exactly happen here, but I get the impression that's what would eventually have to happen. In fact, they were being reassigned.
You have been relieved of all responsibility for the asteroid ship Yonada. Starfleet Command will take care of the situation.
So other ships could try and do something, but it's a little it's very kind of sad, Kirk is losing one of his best friends, if at all. I got that impression, and that really sank to me. How did it make you feel?
I mean, again, the problem is, and I after I was doing this, it was kind of the very two minds about this episode, about how I felt. And I went and read some reviews, and they pointed out, like, the detractor, the people who are building it up are being like, this is a great, threefer, where it really shows a good story for our three main characters, Spock, McCoy, and Kirk. It's a good space adventure. It's a high sci-fi concept. It has emotion, but you do know, and this is highlighted in the reviews that were negative towards it, that they're going to get off the ship. That McCoy is going to survive at the end. In fact, there are no red shirts here, so no one's going to die. Like, it's just to wit the fact. I mean, that's highlighted by the fact
That's actually funny.
It's highlighted by the fact that when the goons pop out of the tubes, they all have swords, but they use them as bludgeoning weapons instead of stabbing weapons. You better believe that if there was a red shirt there, they would have remembered that the swords were sharp. So all to say, it's like, did I feel anything? No, because I knew how it was going to end.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of this, because it's a weekly show. Our main characters have to come back. I would say it'd almost be conceivable in Deep Space Nine someone wouldn't come back, but even there they come back as well. But that's pretty much all I have on this episode. I enjoyed it. I think it's odd that we kind of have essentially three-ish stories. We got McCoy sick, the mystery asteroid, the alien contraption machine, maybe even four, dictatorial control, a love story. It's a whole bunch of things jammed in there. Need more.
Yeah, like 6 or 7, even down to Spock and Kirk being sentenced to death for violating the Oracle thing. It made me think of that Wesley Crusher episode where, like, he falls against a tree and they're like, oh, we have to kill him.
Oh yes, the planet of the barely dressed people. Yes, I
And wait, isn't there also an episode of Enterprise where Porthos pees on a sacred tree?
Yes.
And like the captain has to do something to make sure that wait, were they going to kill the dog
no,
or
just
everyone?
the dog. They think the dog was dying, or something like that. It's a little weird, and then Archer has to dress in some ritualistic outfit and chop the tree. Little silly.
Well, yeah, but you know what? I was watching some more bits of Enterprise, and again, I never watched the first time around. It has a lot of good stuff in it.
It does.
Like, it would be poetry by modern day standards.
Yes, but it also has a lot of crap in it as well. You can actually see it that Voyager and Enterprise share a lot of similar long, boring story pieces. This Enterprise, though, has the notable thing of a season-long story arc with a race called the Zindi. I'm not a fan of that one, but whatever. I do like the way we discover that the only way to deactivate the Oracle is to hit the big giant silver button in the center. I found that really hilarious for some reason.
Apply pressure to the center until it opens.
Yeah, but they're...
Now that...
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No.
No. Go on.
I was just saying it's silly because like Kirk and Spock realize that the control center everything's done by this Oracle. And when they go in there, the heat's turned on to melt them or burn them to death. But Spock is able to access the Book of Legends and so forth because they've turned Natiri or Natira to join them. And they realize that the big silver button of the star system, that opens up the heating elements and they can go back in and control the spaceship. I think that was kind of funny. It was like, oh, there it is. It's been in front of us the entire time. Very simple. It's, it's like, Spock, can you fix it? And to borrow a comedian's line, Yes, Captain. It's very similar to a Commodore VIC-20. It's like, it just reminds me, very simple computers, but
Why buy just a video game from Atari or Intellivision? Invest in the wonder computer of the 1980s for under $300. The Commodore VIC-20.
still a fun time. But I don't really think I have anything else on this other than to say that I like that underground world bit. I thought that was great. That was brand new for this set. They made up that language by studying, that's Matt Jeffries and John Dreyer. They were in the art department. It's kind of Mayan in a weird way.
The writing is definitely Fabrini, Captain. I recognize it.
Fabrini, didn't the Fabrini sun go nova and destroy its planets?
And so I like that with that weird symbology. Did you notice it?
I did not know.
Okay, well, next time take a look at it. You'll see this. A lot of people went to hard work to make the language that they had on the walls and so forth. I will also tell you that they had a new art or new cinematographer named Al Francis, who was replacing the outgoing Jerry Finnerman, who was no longer with the production. And the sky, a lot of things began to melt because the lights were so hot. The gels on the were melty because of the lights in there. So they melted it so that they keep changing them, and the sky color kept changing because of the melting lights and special effects. But I kind of liked it. That's,
Let's
about
get
it.
into rating and guessing.
Okay, let's start with how much money this was.
They went overboard.
Yes,
They
I told you it's 8 days.
had a big cast. They had to build a whole set. A lot of stuff going on. They used linguists, apparently. I'm going to guess, because I always go too high. I'm going to guess 188,000.
Not even close.
Oh,
The
boy.
actual amount was $201,371.
That is huge.
Yes, it was that in 2025 dollars is $1,874,694.57. So it's a lot of money. They were in the hole. The studio was not happy, and this was the one and only time this director was there since he went over budget and over schedule by 2 days. That's a lot of money and time when you think about it. But the story, I liked it a lot with all the little nuancy things. But that's
100%. I thought the acting was great.
yeah.
Go on.
Oh no! I was just gonna say there was also an idea that said what if there was a season 4, there would be a continuation of this because at the end, McCoy says, I could spend shore leave with you. He never does, but they were talking
not
about
that we
it.
see.
That's true. I'm sure there's some book out there. And hey,
Do we ever see him go on shore leave anywhere else?
No, not really. But I will tell you.
So boom.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, if any of you fans have any of our any ideas as to what happens to Planet Yonada with McCoy, let us know. Is there a book? Is there something out there? Don't forget to email us that at yellingatgas@gmail.com or just tell us on the YouTube comments. Yeah, but I don't know. Do you think a part 2 of this would have worked out with just saying McCoy playing house with Natiri or Natira?
Yes.
Rather?
Yes, it would have been much more interesting to cut to 6 months later.
6 months later.
That'd be fascinating.
I guess it. Yeah, no, I guess so. And where would they go since it can't go to Darren 5? I still love that concept of that star lost group. But anyway, let's come to our ratings, Mike, on our very scientific 1 to 10 scale. What are you going to give for The World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky? But I Have Touched the Sky.
Okay, so great production value. Swinging high for the fences when it comes to high sci-fi context, which I really appreciate. Too much shoddy. God, I want to say shoddy writing, slapdash writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not careful writing, but big concepts, but not precise. It should have been 2. So ultimately, I was entertained. I was enjoyed. I was a little frustrated by the fact that it had such greater potential. So I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10.
Wow. Guess what? I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 as well. Yay!
Great minds.
Right? For very similar reasons. The writing's a little bit shoddy. You want to know more, and you're kind of left in the dark. I love the concept of a race of aliens kind of forgetting their past and not knowing where they're going or what's going on.
Incredible as it may seem, these people have no idea they're living on a spaceship.
The idea of heresy, of outsiders coming on in. I think it's done better on some other shows. But this is quite enjoyable. I like the idea that McCoy is actually the love interest for a change. And I like the evil computer, although that's most of Star Trek, the original series. The computer's always evil. Why do you think that is? I guess because, I don't know. We'll have to.
I get worried right now. Our AI that we encounter is just really dumb, and dumb in the most traditional sense of it will not make any thought that we do not give it.
That's true.
But
you got
it starts to think on its own and develop a personality. I can't imagine it's going to be nice.
No, probably not. But we will support and love our new AI overlords eventually. But I do like this one, so we both give it a 7. It's a great time. So let me tell you what's coming up next, Mike.
Go ahead.
The next episode is called The Thalian Web.
Oh, famous, right?
The Thalians. It is famous. Oddly, this was also never broadcast on TV in New York when I was growing up. So I've only seen it 500,000 times as opposed to 1,000,000 times. I do like this episode as well. I'm just telling you that now. But let's see what you think about it when we go and see it. That's coming up next on Yelling at Gaseous Anomalies. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and hit that bell notification as always. And email us at yellingatgas. And everyone, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. We'd appreciate that. And I believe once this comes out, this will be the end of our 2025 year, Mike.
Wow.
So just want to wish you a happy new year and all of our fans and listeners a happy new year. Can't believe thanks for joining us all this time.
Yeah.
We are going to be coming back after a small little break for the New Year's and holidays with more things coming up. We still have the rest of season 3, and eventually we'll hit the animated series and more things. And yes, I will get to talking tricorders. We're going to have to actually do that, and also an anatomy of scene with Mike.
Please.
So, Mike, anything you want to say to our fine viewers out there, or listeners, rather?
No. Thank you for those who are staying with us throughout all this time and dealing with the delays. Thank you, Captain, for creating this. It would literally not exist without thee. And looking forward to proceeding on, getting through the rest of Season 3, and then entering eventually, hopefully in 2026, the animated series. Because, you know what? Color me curious about what they could do without the constraints of, trying to build a set.
Well, you'll be pleasantly surprised most of the time. So that's again upcoming on Yelling at Gaseous Anomalies with our next episode, probably after the new year in 2026, The Thalian Web. Again, as I said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as always. Also, don't forget to check out our TeePublic t-shirt store and buy some merch. And as always, live long and prosper, and we'll see you out there.
Dr. McCoy, Mr. Spock and I will handle this. Without me, Jim, you'd never find your way back.